this one, Boxer?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah? That's all right. You'll have John Kingwell on you. And you'll have my other lad up the top end there on the signal. All right, so you'll have one either end.
Right.
Okay.
That if you were organising a public relations exercise, there were two things you had to avoid. One was having lots of children around, and the other was involving animals. We're choosing to do both today because CrossCountry carries not many big animals like our pony this morning, but a number of cats and dogs, and I once saw a little alligator in a container being taken by one of our customers, but a lot of children up and down the country. We're here to celebrate, not as one of the young people here today said, you know, is this a new trade? Looks a bit like it, doesn't it? We'll say a bit more about that later. But we're here to celebrate CrossCountry's long-distance services across Britain and to name the two locomotives on this train to carry the names of both Dartmoor and of Plymouth around the country with pride over the coming years. And I'd like to introduce, for this part of today's event, Gerald Taylor, who's our manager, CrossCountry Trains manager in the southwest of England, responsible for services and our people in this part of the world.
Now the name of this power car was first suggested by one of our own drivers here, one of our own cross-country drivers, Steve Parker, who goes out walking on the moors a lot. And therefore the name Dartmoor originated from Steve. However, I would now like to introduce to you in a second Lisa Setter from the Dartmoor Pony Society, who's going to explain a little bit more about the Pony Society, who I believe it's the year of the Dartmoor Pony. Okay, but before I do that, I'd like to announce the fact that CrossCountry Trains will be sponsoring, I must get this right, the Dartmoor Pony Convention and Best of Breed Show, which will be taking place at the Bicton Arena near Exeter later this year. So can I please welcome Lisa Setter to come and say a little bit more about the society.
Thank you very much for inviting me to say a few words about the Dartmoor Pony Society and the pony we have here today. I must admit that when I had a telephone call saying that there was going to be a train called the Dartmoor Pony, I thought, well, there can't be anything that can remotely link a train to a pony, but obviously there's the horsepower.
It gives me great pleasure to be able to introduce you to Ben Doonan. Ben took part in the Evening Herald competition where he was asked to the prize was to win the honour of naming this power car, and he was asked where and why he wanted to go somewhere on a cross-country train.
Have two names on the train, one at each end, which we're naming the other end Plymouth, Spirit of Discovery, in a short while. Thank you.
Yeah, well, he said we
Those of you that have walked the length of this train will, I think, share my opinion that, without question, Plymouth today has the cleanest train on Britain's railways in its station. I've set a challenge to our maintenance and cleaning contractor at the depot at Lara in Plymouth here to say I'd really like all my trains to look like this most, if not all, of the time. I'm waiting for the price. You'll also have seen, as you've walked the length of the train to come from Dartmoor, the Pony Express, to this end, that the train indeed actually, in all its carriages, has a name, the Devon Scott. It's one of a network of long-distance trains across Britain, run by cross-country trains, Devon Scot, the Cornish Scot and the Cornishman from this part of the world, taking people literally from one end of the country to the other. Now, I could get pretty tedious like a station announcer and read out the destination. It's served by this train going to Aberdeen today, 11:55 from here. It does that at a different time every day of the week. It links the southwest with places, just to pick a few, like Birmingham, like Preston, like Edinburgh, like Dundee and Aberdeen, and many others around the rail network of Britain. And that's the business we're in, and that's the business that this train is in, and it will carry the names that we've unveiled today, the length and breadth of Britain. Indeed, this afternoon, the citizens of Preston, for example, will see the name Plymouth. Later on today, people in Glasgow, in Edinburgh and Aberdeen. Tomorrow, the train will be coming back south again, back to Plymouth. The next day, it may be going back to Edinburgh, may in fact go back to Aberdeen. And up and down the country, the name of Plymouth, the name of Dartmoor will be seen by millions of people, potentially, every day of the week. And that's great news, both for CrossCountry in promoting our network, and I believe for the southwest in promoting both the attractions that you have here, like Dartmoor, and indeed the city of Plymouth itself. And that's the stage we get to with this power car here, this locomotive, to be named Plymouth Spirit of Discovery, and we shall do that shortly. But firstly, let's celebrate some of the tourist attractions of the West Country, and it gives me great pleasure to introduce Robin Morrison-Smith to say a few words representing the West Country Tourist Board. Right.
Thank you very much indeed. Chris, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Welcome to Plymouth, the capital of South Devon. And by my accent, you can tell I don't come from South Devon, although I'm managing director of the West Country Tourist Board and have been for 12 years. I come from North Devon. It's about 640 miles north of Devon, not far from where this train's going to end up today. With its the Dartmoor Pony Society helping us earlier on, a well-behaved pony too. I like just to mention the Plymouth Marketing Bureau, which is your organisation here in this wonderful city that promotes tourism particularly to Plymouth and its environs. And this, I think, linking up with the railway company to do an exercise, a PR exercise like this today, is very important. And it's good to see the Plymouth Marketing Bureau out here on the Sabbath too, helping to promote. And what we're trying to promote here, partly, the words above me. Can you see this? Cross-country trains. That's what these people would like to hear you say a lot more. Can you read that out loud? Cross-country. That wasn't very loud, was it? Can you do that again, please? It is cross-country. Right, now, don't forget. Now, we hope that this cross-country train is going to be a real ambassador for tourism, heading off up through the country, being seen in all these stations. Everywhere it'll be pristinely clean like this as well, I'm quite sure. And it will be taking visitors back down from the north, down here to holiday in Devon and particularly in Plymouth. Tourism is vitally important to us down here. It's worth £2,800 million a year. Now that's a lot of cash. You can't even win that in the lottery. All I'd like to say is, before handing over to Robin Knox-Johnson, who you children will probably know well, is the bravest sailor there's probably ever been since Sir Francis Drake. In fact, probably a lot braver than Sir Francis Drake, because he had a much bigger ship and a lot of lads with him to help him. Robin Knox-Johnson did it on his own. And last week at this time, I was just leaving a holiday exhibition in Wren, and I came back on Sunday night, overnight from Roscoff to Plymouth, and I was the most scared sailor in the entire world. We were in a lovely little storm of force 8 or more, thrown around that channel like a cork. It was terrifying. I wouldn't like to have been doing what he did, I can tell you. 6 hours was quite long enough for me. So without further ado, remember the name here, folks, cross-country trains, and it's important to tourism. Thank you very much.
Rob, thank you for that. I'm sure nobody's going to forget now. Without any further ado, Robin Knox-Johnson, we'd like to say a few words, and then please name this power car for us, Plymouth. Thank you.
Thanks very much. I was interested in the technical aspects of this locomotive And I have to agree, I've never seen one looking so clean in my life. But that just goes to show what we can do down here, doesn't it? Do it best. 2,500 horsepower it's got, governed down to 2,250, top speed 125 miles an hour. It took us 75 days last year to sail around the world. That's the current world record. I've just worked out this thing at 125 miles an hour does it in a week. Because it uses a lot more fuel, and I reckon it'll come back a little bit salt-safe. Well, I've not named a train before. This is the first time, so I'm going to do it in the traditional way we name a boat, because it's the only thing I can think of.
Gentlemen, could you go that side so that Robin can... Chris, pull the mic away, can you?
Got it.
This way, please, Robin, as you do it.
I name this locomotive Plymouth Spirit of Discovery, and may she bring many, many smiling faces down to the West Country.
That's it. This way, please, Robin.
That's not quite the end of the morning's presentations, ladies and gentlemen. I mentioned Councillor Jack Jones from Plymouth City Council a moment ago. I'd like to ask Jack to say a word or two in just a moment, but let me record our pleasure in cross-country trains in the partnership that I believe, Jack, we're beginning to build with Plymouth. I think there's a lot of opportunity for both of us in working closely together to bring visitors to the city. We've all been extremely impressed by the hospitality we've had from the Bureau and look forward to working closely with you in the years to come. So, ladies and gentlemen, Councillor Jack Jones from Plymouth City Council.
Well, of course, I'm delighted to be associated with the naming of the train, and I think it's utterly appropriate, of course, that we've got an old sea dog here actually naming the train here in Plymouth. And, of course, delighted that CrossCountry will be taking the name of Plymouth all across the country every day. And here in Plymouth, we can see the sun is shining, as it does every day. So the tourist board can bring all the people down to Plymouth on this beautiful train. So on behalf of Plymouth City Council and the Marketing Bureau, I'm delighted to be associated and happy to receive this huge plaque you're going to give me now.
Right, thank you very much indeed. What we'd like to, Robin has just unveiled on the locomotive. We present it to Plymouth City and hope that you'll be able to display it in commemoration of today, and remember that the same nameplate is being carried the length and breadth of Britain on our train. Thank you.
This way, gents.